Hello again, math students. Today we're going to keep working with area formulas like we did yesterday, but now instead of finding an area, we're going to be giving you the area and you're going to have to find some missing measurement in our picture. So we're going to be starting with writing down the formula that we were using yesterday, and then we'll put all of the stuff that we know into that formula, and then we solve the equation. We're good at solving equations, so that shouldn't be a problem for us. So in this problem, this rectangle, we know that the formula for a rectangle is area equals either length times width or base times height. And I can see that I'm missing, we're going to call this one the B for the base, but I know the height is 6, and I know that the area is 54. So if I would take that equation that I already have, and just put in the numbers that I know. The area is 54. I'm not going to bother putting in labels while I'm working. I'll just put my label at the end. The base I don't know, but the height I know is 6. Now, we know how to solve this. If I have to get rid of multiplying by 6, I would just divide both sides by 6. So I'm going to get that the base is 9. And in this case, it's going to be 9 centimeters. In a parallelogram, very similar to a rectangle, that formula is still base times height or length times width. So when I do this one, area equals base times height, the base is the area is 63. This time I do know the base. The base is either, in this case, the top or the bottom. It doesn't have to be the top or the bottom. Those are the ones that are perpendicular to the height. So that base is 7. But I don't know the height. So to find that height, I would have to get rid of multiplying by 7, which means divide by 7. And this also gives me 9 for my height. So this would be 9. There's no label in the picture. However, the area formula or the area information was that it was square feet. That's the area label. The missing dimension would only have a label of feet. Lengths are just going to be regular measurements, not squared. In a triangle, the formula has that 1/2 in there, right? So our formula would be A equals 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to put in all the stuff I know. The area is 24. There's my 1/2. That's just part of my formula. The base is 4. And the height, I don't know. Okay, so on the right-hand side, I could just kind of clean that up. I could do 1/2 times 4, which is just going to be 2. So I'll have 24 equals 2h. And then to get rid of multiplying by 4, I would divide, by 2, I would divide by 2. And I get that 12 is my height. And again, this label would be important to have that it's 12 inches. Some people, I fear, would look at this problem and make a guess and say that the height is going to be 6 because they just do 6 times 4 to get 24. They forget about how that 1/2 would affect our answer. Trapezoids, I mentioned yesterday, kind of the most difficult, in my opinion, of the formulas that we're going to use, just because there's a little bit more stuff in there. So our formula for a trapezoid, the area is 1/2 times the height, and then we take the two parallel bases, A and B, and we add those in parentheses. So let's put in all the stuff that we know. The 3 and the 5, by the way, are the bases. I know the area is 20. We don't have labels in this one. I don't have the height, but the directions did say find the missing height in a trapezoid. So I put the 20 right here. 1/2, I don't know the height, but the A and the B are the 3 and the 5. Now, inside the parentheses, that's going to be 8, right? So I would have, if I would kind of clean this up, you wouldn't necessarily have to write down this step, but you certainly can. I could multiply that 1/2 times 8, right? Half of 8 is 4. So I'm going to have that 20 equals 4h. Now, I don't want 4h, I just want h. So I'd have to divide by the 4, which gives me a height of 5. So this would be 5. And I don't know what my label is. They didn't give me a label anywhere in this. So this would just be 5 units. Anytime we've got measurements, I want some kind of a label on there, even if it's nothing more specific than just units. For this last example, we're finding the area of finding the radius of a circle. I know the area of the circle. This problem does say to use 3.14 for pi instead of the pi button. There are times when directions will specifically say use 3.14, and it's usually just to make sure that everyone gets a nice answer. I still tend to like using the pi button, but in this particular problem, the way that it's written, 3.14 works out very nicely. So our area formula for a circle is A equals pi r squared. I know the area, that's the 113.04. Pi, we said we're going to use 3.14, and I don't know that radius. And by the way, the square, I can't just get rid of that yet, right? But I can get rid of the 3.14. To get rid of multiplying by 3.14, I would divide. Again, great place for a calculator. So I would do 113.04 divided by 3.14, and that gives me 36. I need to move my screen just a little bit to get a little bit more space. 36 is what I had here. Now, we haven't really shown you exactly how to get rid of that square, but I bet if you think about this, you can figure this number out in your head. I can show you in class how to use your calculator, but this one you should know. Remember, when I square something, I am multiplying it times itself. So that means I want a number times itself that gives me 36. And I know some people would just say divide by 2 and you get 18, but 18 times 18 is not 36. 18 plus 18 is. So we have something called a square root, but without even knowing how to write that, I have no doubt that most of you could look at this and say that this answer is actually 6. And since my area was square inches, then I would know that the radius is 6 inches. Now, for those of you that want to know, and this is kind of a preview for things that are coming, to get rid of a square, we would use, I'm going to use a different color here, what's called a square root. A square and a square root cancel each other out. If I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other side. And the square root of 36 is just 6. So if you have any troubles with today's work, please make sure that you reach out to me and ask for some help. And good luck.